Is SSA triangle problems may have 0 or 2 solutions an ambiguous statement? A test I took included the question. True or false, SSA triangle problems may have 0 or 2 solutions. SSA triangles, as was taught in the lesson, can have 0 solutions, 1 solution, or 2 solutions. I was unsure if the question asked if 0 and 2 solutions were possibilities with SSA triangles, or if SSA triangles were limited to 0 or 2 solutions. I went with the former, that is, answered true, and got it wrong. Is it just me, or is the test question ambiguous?
Zero or 2 solutions suggest to me, I have a math/physics background, that there can be only 0 or 2 solutions, like a quadratic equation.
The question is not ambiguous. True or false, SSA triangles can have 0 or 2 solutions. If your answer is true, then you mean the cardinality of the solution set can be 0 or 2. There is a possibility that either of these could be the value. It's equally possible that neither is. If your answer is false, then neither 0 nor 2 can ever be the cardinality. To give another example, consider, true or false, the number of seats in a monocotyledon can be 2. It is false, as the number is always 1. The thing with such true or false questions is to first look at the stronger condition. Here the false statement is strong, it rules out 0 and 2 as solutions, cannot be. Comparatively, the true statement is vague, can be 0 or 2, can be 1, can be infinity. Use the law of elimination. Since the false statement is wrong, true has to be the correct answer. Finally, as this page shows, an SSA triangle can have 0, 1 or 2 solutions based on the length of the sides and the angles. So mathematically the correct answer for the question is true. That was one for math.sc.
As MGB observes, 0 or 2 solutions suggests that there can be only 0 or 2 solutions. Since there can be 0, 1 or 2 solutions, the question is ambiguous, since, as phrased, it implies that one solution is not a viable option, which is false, but states that 0 or 2 solutions are viable options, which is true.
There is no ambiguity. The statement can have 0 or 2 solutions categorically states that it can either have 2 solutions or none at all. Having one solution or more than 2 solutions is not a possibility. The answer to the question must be given accordingly, false.
I find that I could go either way on this one, and much of it depends on whether I start with the question itself or by examining the question's implied introduction, true or false. Let's start with the question. SSA triangle problems may have 0 or 2 solutions. I interpret this as SSA triangle problems may have 0 solutions or 2 solutions. So, if an SSA triangle problem has only one solution, that's not 0, then that's not 2. Ergo, if that's possible, then the statement would be false. So, I pick false. However, now let me start with the T or F part of the question. Is this statement true? SSA triangle problems may have 0 or 2 solutions. Of course that's true. Some SSA triangle problems have 0 solutions, right? Yes, that's correct, and others have 2 solutions, right? Yes, that's also correct. Therefore, SSA triangle problems may have 0 or 2 solutions. In other words, I could give you a set of SSA triangle problems, carefully handpicked, of course, that all have 0 or 2 solutions, then the statement would hold true for that set of SSA triangle problems. The problem here is that the question was worded ambiguously. Had the question been worded as follows: all SSA triangle problems have exactly 0 or 2 solutions, then clearly the statement would be false. But the problem was obviously not crafted by a skilled logician. The absence of the qualifier all and the insertion of the word may introduce some very unfortunate ambiguity. This reminds me of a time where I was playing the game Guess Who with my son. In the game, you ask a series of yes or no questions that help you narrow down a list of suspects to one specific individual. For example, you might ask, does the person have blonde hair? And a yes answer would let you eliminate the brunettes, while a no answer would mean the secret individual is blonde. 2 players compete, trying to guess the right person fast, so it is imperative to dwindle the list of suspects as quickly as possible. Anyhow, my son asked me, is the person male or female, to which I smiled broadly and replied, yes.